What if your dog isn't barking at nothing, but at something you literally can't perceive? Some of these hidden abilities might actually surprise you. And one of them? It's honestly a little unsettling, because your dog is constantly sensing a world that exists right next to you, but completely outside your awareness. And once you understand what they're picking up on, their weird behavior suddenly starts to make a lot more sense. Let's dive into the most fascinating abilities your dog has. Starting with one you've probably seen 100 times, but never realized what it actually meant.
If you like the video, then subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any more videos.
The secret GPS inside your dog. You've probably noticed your dog spinning in circles before going to the bathroom. It looks random, maybe even a little silly. But here's what's really happening. Some scientists believe dogs can actually sense the Earth's magnetic field, almost like they have a built-in compass. They may be aligning their bodies north to south, completely instinctively. And it doesn't stop there. This same ability might explain how dogs can find their way home, even from miles away. So next time your dog starts circling, it's not aimless. They might be syncing themselves with the planet itself. Kind of incredible when you think about it. Why darkness doesn't slow them down. Now here's something you've definitely experienced. You're walking your dog at night, and you can barely see anything. But your dog? Completely calm, totally aware. That's because their night vision is far better than yours. They have a special reflective layer in their eyes called the tapetum lucidum. It basically bounces light back into their retina, giving them a second chance to process it. Add to that more light-sensitive cells, and suddenly, darkness isn't really dark for them. They can detect movement incredibly well, even in low light. So when they react to something you can't see, they're not guessing. They're seeing things you simply can't. The invisible pattern's right in front of you now. This one is something most people completely misunderstand. Dogs don't just see differently. They actually see things you can't see at all. Dogs can detect ultraviolet light, which means their world includes hidden patterns, markings, and signals that are invisible to you. Flower petals, for example, can appear almost like glowing targets. Certain animal markings stand out clearly. Even old stains or scent trails become visible in a way you'd never notice. So when your dog is obsessing over a random spot on the floor, there's a good chance it's not random at all. They're picking up details your eyes will never catch. And honestly, once you realize that, it changes how you see their behavior. That random noise they keep reacting to. Let's talk about something every dog owner has experienced. Your dog suddenly perks up, ears alert, staring at nothing, and you're thinking, what are you hearing? The answer? A lot more than you. Dogs can hear extremely high-pitched sounds that humans can't detect. Things like distant animal noises, or even tiny movements inside your walls. That faint scratching sound you don't notice? To your dog, it's crystal clear. This is also why fireworks and thunderstorms can feel overwhelming to them. Those sharp, intense sounds hit their ears much harder than they hit yours. So if your dog suddenly seems anxious or reactive, it might not be nothing. Their world is just louder, and sometimes they need a break from it. Your dog notices every tiny movement. Here's something that might surprise you. Your dog isn't just watching you, they're analyzing every small movement you make. Even the tiniest shift in your posture doesn't go unnoticed. Their brain is wired to detect motion with incredible precision. That's why they can instantly react when you reach for a treat, or even slightly change your body position. It's also why they're so good at reading your intentions. You don't even have to say anything. Your body is already telling them everything. So when it comes to training your dog, consistency in your movements matters more than you think. Because to them, Your body language is basically a full conversation. They feel your emotions, even when you hide them. This one gets a little more personal, because your dog doesn't just see and hear you, they feel you. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to emotional changes. They pick up on your tone of voice, your posture, even subtle chemical changes in your body. So when you're stressed, sad, or anxious, they know. That's why they come sit next to you when you're down, or suddenly get playful when you're in a good mood. They're responding to your emotional state in real time, almost like an emotional mirror. And honestly, you've probably noticed this before. It's one of the reasons the bond with your dog feels so strong. Because they're not just around you, they're tuned into you. They can sense heat, even in complete darkness. Now here's something that sounds almost unreal. Your dog can actually detect heat, even when there's no light at all. They can sense body warmth coming from people, animals, or objects nearby. This ability comes from their ancestors, who relied on it for hunting, and it still plays a role today. It might even explain why your dog sticks close to you when you're not feeling well. They could be picking up subtle changes in your body temperature, or simply drawn to your warmth. So when your dog curls up next to you, it's not just affection, it's instinct. Your dog's nose is reading a hidden world. Now this one is absolutely mind-blowing. Your dog's sense of smell is up to 1,000,000 times stronger than yours. Let that sink in for a second. They're not just smelling scents, they're reading information. Dogs can detect pheromones that reveal emotional states like fear, aggression, or even attraction. So when they react differently to certain people, it's not random. They're literally smelling emotions. They can also detect things like stress, illness, and even pregnancy. Their nose is basically a high-powered scanner, constantly analyzing everything around them. So when your dog insists on sniffing something for a long time, that's their way of understanding the world. And honestly, it's far more detailed than anything you can perceive. The truth about how dogs see color. Here's a common myth you've probably heard. Dogs only see in black and white. That's actually not true. Dogs do see color, just not the same way you do. They can see blues, yellows, and various shades of gray. Their color range is limited, but still very functional. This helps them distinguish objects, especially outdoors. For example, blue and yellow objects stand out clearly to them. So if you're choosing toys or accessories, those colors are the ones they'll notice most. It's a small detail, but it actually makes a big difference. They can hear what the earth is saying. Now this is where things get really interesting. Dogs can detect something called infrasound. These are extremely low-frequency vibrations that humans can't hear, but your dog can. This means they can sense things like approaching storms, earthquakes, even distant environmental changes, long before you're aware of them. So when your dog suddenly becomes restless or uneasy, it might not be random behavior. They could be reacting to something happening far away, something you simply can't detect yet. It's almost like they have a built-in early warning system, and honestly, that's pretty incredible. And then there's the one nobody can fully explain. Now we have to talk about this, because this is the one that makes people uncomfortable. Have you ever seen your dog stare at an empty space? Or bark at something that clearly isn't there? A lot of people wonder the same thing. Are dogs sensing something supernatural? There's no scientific proof of that, but there are countless reports from dog owners who've experienced it. Dogs reacting to nothing, growling, staring, or following something invisible. One possible explanation is their heightened senses. They might be detecting faint sounds, subtle smells, or tiny environmental changes, things that completely escape human perception. So while it might feel eerie, there's usually a logical explanation. Still, You've probably had a moment where it made you wonder, and honestly, maybe keep the lights on just in case. Why understanding this changes everything. When you start to understand these abilities, your dog's behavior stops feeling random and starts making sense. They're not overreacting, they're responding to a world that's much richer and more complex than yours. And the more you understand that, the stronger your connection with them becomes. Because now, you're not just observing your dog, you're starting to understand their reality. But here's the thing most people overlook. Understanding what your dog can sense is only half the story. Knowing what your dog will never forgive, that's what really protects your bond. And if you miss that, you could unknowingly damage their trust. So make sure you don't miss what comes next, because it might completely change how you treat your dog forever.